Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Fourth and Nine to Victory. Appreciate everyone hopping in. Appreciate everyone who came out Saturday, commented, liked, subscribed, called in to our weekly call-in show. As you know, we go live every Saturday during the USC game with live updates, breaking down the game schematically wise, giving you an opportunity to call in and ask your questions or share your knowledge of what you see in the game, or even through that in comment. Again, we had people on this week going to give special shout outs. I mean, all the way from they were saying they were in Ohio, New Zealand, Japan. So definitely fight on and shout out to you guys. We did just want to hop on and do a quick victory. If you haven't seen our recap video of the USC versus Perdue game, go to our channel. You can catch that and see a more detailed analysis of what we thought, what we've seen schematically wise, and going through our normal process. But again, we're excited. We have Michigan State coming up Saturday, but as now we're 3-0. We beat Perdue in West Lafayette at home, 33-17. So shout out to the Trojans. We definitely appreciate it. Before we get into our position group grades, just want to give an update. The rankings just came out. We're not in the coaches poll, but we did break top 25 in the AP poll. What's crazy about it is Notre Dame 0-2 are ranked ahead of us at 24, but we'll save that. We'll save that for another show. We just got to keep doing what we're doing. Also, look like little brother across the street. We never root for anybody to get fired, man. Everyone has a family, but UCLA did just release at the time that we're doing this video. UCLA just released Deshaun Foster as head coach. So definitely wish him the best in his next endeavors. But yeah, that's some news we just seen. But all right, let's get into it. Position group grades. Of course, we'll start off at quarterback. We say position group, only one quarterback played. So as far as the quarterback position, you can see Jaden Marvel was 17 for 28, 282 yards. QBR, 90%. Percentage rate, 17 for 28 is 60%. No interceptions, no fumbles, no touchdown passes, but a touchdown run. So what do you give us from the Purdue game, quarterback? What would you give that your grade for that group?
Jay Marva, I give him an A, man. He's been protecting the ball all season. Of course, we're just getting in the conference play. So the two games we had the previous 2 weeks, they were pretty much like a preseason game. But even within that, he still took care of the ball. And as you know, I've been calling for Jay Marva for well over a year. Even into last season when we had those struggles offensively, and I said that Moss really didn't fit Riley's scheme. But I understand that Moss had bought himself some time by winning that Louisville game, that bowl game, and that game against LSU. But getting back on topic, I give him an A, man. He's been managing the game. He hasn't really taken any negative plays. And what's most telling about me that shows his maturity is that once he gets outside of the pocket, he has nowhere to go with the ball, he'll throw it away. So it shows that to me that he has really been mature, and I give him an A.
I give Jaden Marva an A as well. QBR 90, you'll take that any day, right?
Any day.
And it's not only what he did, it's what he didn't do, right? He didn't force anything. If the play wasn't there, like you said, he threw it away and went to the next down. On fourth downs, the whole game, you can see he was going through his progressions, and he was going to the right person per the defense that the defense was playing, right? He was going through his reads, he was getting the ball where it should go. So he did an excellent job. Also, we've seen that our running game was a little stifled, and until he started keeping the ball on that zone read, that opened up so much, right? He even got us a fourth down on 4th and 1, put his head down, and he went and got it. 14-yard touchdown run he had, off the zone read. And once he started running the ball, it opened up some running lanes and slowed down that Purdue edge rushers, which gave our running backs a little bit more crease and opening, and we start being able to run the ball effectively. So again, I'm going to give Jaden Marva an A as well also. All right, let's move on. And within our running back room, we had three running backs play, right? Your boy King Miller actually seen the field as well and had some good runs. What is your overall grade for the running back room?
Well, my overall grade for the running back room is going to be a B plus, and the reason why I say a B plus, even though we got some positive yards, we ended up with what over 150 yards rushing.
131.
131, 131 yards rushing. Those attempts in the red zone, a couple of times we had to resort to field goals. And it wasn't like we were doing a whole bunch of passing, we was actually running the ball. So I think that they really missed our power back, Brian Jackson. I hope he gets well soon. We're going to need him running going down the stretch. But it's getting those tough yards between the tackles that I didn't see a lot of us, us having a lot of success with. We did score. I think Wayman Jordan got into the end zone, and Dave Maaba got into the end zone. But I would like to have seen our running backs get into the end zone more than what they did. So, 2 touchdowns on offense, and the other touchdown, of course, coming from the defense. But overall, I'm hoping I'm not missing one. Did I miss anybody on offense?
No, that's all the rush. That's
Yeah.
all the rushing TDs. We had 2 rushing TDs.
Okay, 2 rushing TDs. So otherwise, it's something that I know that we're gonna see. We're gonna see more bigger fronts, coming down the stretch. So I would like to see those running backs, get between those tackles and get into the end zone when we know that they're gonna drop back in coverage and try to double up on our receivers on the outside.
All right. So for the running back room, I'm gonna give the running back room a A. I didn't see any missed assignments, no missed blocks, no turnovers. Right. Eli Sanders had 7 carries for 53 yards with an average of 7.6 a carry. Wayman Jordan had 51 yards with an average of 3.6, and King Miller averaged 4.3. Right. Those are good. Those are good averages. Sanders' longest run was 20 yards. Wayman's longest run was 15. King's longest yard was 9. As far as the scoring in the red zone, we'll get to that when we get to the offensive line, because these running backs work hard the whole game. If you look at Wayman Jordan's touchdown alone, he was hitting the backfield, right? And he made that play off sure wheel and bouncing it out. So a lot of the runs we seen, it wasn't as if it was clean holes and pockets. These running backs were getting extra yards and getting the hard yards. So not scoring in the red zone, I'm not going to hold that against them because they were getting their tough yard even when the holes were not there, and Perdue was getting that penetration. So as far as the running back room, I'm gonna give them an A, and we can talk more about a little bit what I just discussed when we get down to O-line. But going on, I feel safe to say this is your favorite position group. Well, I know your favorite players in this position group.
Right.
Go down to wide receivers, the wide receiver room.
Yeah. I'm going to give him an A minus. Jacoby Lane, 115 yards receiving. We didn't get into the end zone, unfortunately, from a wide receiver standpoint this game. But when we needed to stretch the defense, when we needed to take the top off, Jay Maaba was able to go over the top to Lane. Now, what surprised me is that I didn't see too many over the top throws to Limit. Now, to Nook Hines, another pleasant surprise, one of our standout freshmen, he did go up, climb it out, and get a big catch when we needed on 39, and almost pulled in one in the end zone. Look forward to that kid really stepping up down the stretch. I can see him. He has the speed. He has the athleticism to really make an impact on this within this offense. So I give him an A.
I give them an A as well. I don't hold them not scoring a touchdown against them as a receiver. You really can't control that unless you're in the end zone and you drop a ball or something like that.
Right.
But I give the wide receiver room an A as well, because the whole game we did a great job of doing what we needed to do to take what the defense was giving us and what schematically wise and football wise was the right thing to do. So I do give him an A. We didn't have any wide receiver. I give A minus. We didn't have any wide receivers fumble or anything. Makai Lemon had one he would like to have back, right? An incompletion that he could have caught for a first down. Jacoby Lane had a holding call, but outside of that, they played well. The tight ends came up good. They're part of I consider them part of the receiving group, right? Walker Lyons and
Lake McCree.
Lake McCree. Yep. Lake McCree was second on the team in yards yesterday with 67 yards. So I do give them I give them an A-. They played well. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people catch a ball. Three of them was running backs, but we had 8 people, right? And so that lets you know the ball was getting distributed. I expect Makai Lemon to have a big game next week, but it depends on the defense again, right? You don't want to force any things. And what was happening is that Purdue was bracketing him. Purdue was saying, this is the guy we can't let beat us.
Right.
Make the other one beat us, which is why Jacoby Lane was getting the one-on-one coverage, that single coverage on the outside, and they had no answer for him, right? That's why Tanukes were getting the one-on-one, and they were bracketing, and because their motto was we're not going to let Lemon get us, right? Not this explosive guy. So I give them an A. All right. So we looked at quarterback, we looked at running backs, looked at wide receivers, offensive line.
Offensive line. Let's go B-. I'm going to go B- on the offensive line. It's for some of the reasons that you gave. A lot of times, well, I wouldn't say it was even a lot, but a few times I counted, like you said, we found our running backs found themselves having to dodge defenders in the backfield. The holes weren't open like they were the prior 2 weeks, so that the running backs can get through them. I did count a few times where Sanders was able to get through. Maybe even one time where Miller was able to get through, but it didn't look as clean. We didn't have as many clean holes as we had in the prior 2 weeks. And you can attribute that to the defense. Oldham had his guys ready, but there were better athletes on the field from a defensive perspective. We're not going to be able to, to rush for 160, 200 yards on every team. So especially after we get deep into conference play. So I'm gonna go B- on there. I didn't see too many. Well, we saw holes on the outside on the receivers as far as from a penalty perspective, but as far as from having a clean offensive play, we did have a couple false starts. So you could attribute that to us being on the road, but then again, you got to be mentally focused and mentally ready. So I give them a B-.
I give them a B- too. Overall, they played well, especially for it to be the first on the road game, Big Ten play. Right, a lot of those guys are starting together. They did play well. We did give up 7 tackles for loss. We only gave up 1 sack, like you said. There wasn't a lot of penalties. We had, I believe, either 1 or 2 false starts. But outside of that, they played well. But I'm going to give them a B- because a lot of times in the red zone, what I wanted to see, especially against a 3-man front, is for us to be able to run the ball in and not get beat by that 3-man front. The whole thing about it is, can we run the ball when we want to run the ball, when they know we're going to run the ball, right? I think that's where all USC fans want us to get to, right? We knew back in the day that when we wanted to run the ball with Lindell, with Reggie, we can run the ball. Wasn't nothing they can do about us. And within that red zone, even though it's getting tight, you have to be able to move some bodies. A lot of that too, like you said, go to Barry Odom, right? They would do that false pressure where they'll have 5 people up and they only end up rushing 3. And then sometimes they would just line up 3 and go with eight defenders off the ball.
Off the ball, right.
And it was giving them an advantage against our offensive linemen because they were just beating our offensive linemen to the punch, because now you're not lined up in front of me. I got to go get you 3 or 4 yards down the field. You know what I'm saying? They can just duck and dodge or run past them.
Right.
But I'm gonna give them a B. We did see a few times where it was just a 3-man rush, and I'm saying on the live, like, you have 5 men. There's no way a 3-man rush should be able to put pressure on your quarterback. With a 3-man rush, you should be able to sit back there all day. But definitely the offensive line, they played well. It's the first road game. We're not going to have perfect games. And that's one thing I got to tell myself. We're not going to go through a game where the offensive line don't give up a pressure or a sack or a negative play. It happens, but they was not dominated. Right. So I'm gonna go with the same thing and give them a B-. All right. So we looked at we looked at offense. Let's go over to defense. And we're gonna start off from the front to the back. So let's look at defensive line. What is your grade on defensive line?
Well, we'll let you take the lead on this one. You go defensive line since I did offense first.
On the defensive line, I'm going to give the defense a line. I have to give the defensive line an A minus.
A minus.
Because
What did they do wrong?
the defensive line, I'm gonna give them an A minus because
Okay.
you know when I think of A plus, I think above 95. A
Okay.
minus anything
Right,
below
right,
95.
right.
You know
That's
what I'm
fair.
saying?
That's fair.
So I'm gonna give them an A minus. It was some times where they were moved, but it wasn't a lot. But overall, the defensive line played great. The only issue with the defensive line is that they had two straight times where I got to give you an A minus. You had two straight times where you jumped off sides, play
Right.
after, like in consecutive plays, right? Not
Right.
only that, we have to stop with the hands to the face,
Oh yeah, high
right?
hands. Yeah.
Yeah,
High hands.
we've gotten that call 3 weeks in a row now. But outside of that, the defensive line played phenomenal. The front four was getting pressure at times with just four. They was causing havoc. We had 5 sacks, so 3 of them came from the defensive line. They were getting pressure all game, right? We had a defensive lineman take a pick six, take it to the
Right.
house.
Yeah, back
Big
to the
Josh
house.
Jared.
Right.
So I mean, the defensive line played great, and a lot of people look at the numbers and what was going on in the rush game. That's not all on the defensive line because the defensive line was getting their pressure, they were getting their movement, but we got to be gap sound on every level, right? So linebackers got to ensure that they're shooting the right gaps and
Right.
they're where they're supposed to be, and they're not getting check blocked and hooked because that's what leads to opening. But overall, defensive line, A minus.
Well, you know what I'm going with the defensive line. I'm going with an A plus. You can't, I understand that we got a couple offsides. I get that, and one hand to the face. I think we only had one this game, maybe even two. Maybe I missed one, but can't justify giving these guys anything less than an A plus when you got the amount of pressure that they put on his quarterback, the freshmen that are coming through, busting through this defensive line. Busting through the offensive line, getting TFLs. You got Jakeem Stewart out there getting a tackle for loss. He looking mid-season form like a sophomore. You got Floyd Boucard coming through there getting a sack. You got Big Josh Jarrett catching the interception, off a batted pass and taking it 70 yards. And who was he escorted by? Escorted by our very own Anthony Lucas. So for the amount of pressure that they put on that quarterback, on the road, they look hungry. We got some minor stuff we need to clean up. True, I agree with that. But for the most part, I couldn't be happier with that defensive line, especially when you look at the overall stack. And we talked about this in our recap, where the numbers appear to be misleading because Perdue actually rushed for more yards than what they did, but because of the amount of sacks that we got, the amount of TFLs that we got, they only netted 62 yards. So for that very same reason, I got to go with an A plus on our defensive line.
All right. Moving on to the second level, the linebacker group. Am I going first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. This was the hardest group to give a grade to for the simple fact you have one linebacker outside of one play outstanding. Mm-hmm. 9 out of 10 times he makes that play, right? And
right.
It's because of the play. It's because of the play like Eric Gentry. I give the linebacker group a C plus, right?
Okay.
Eric Gentry had 8 total tackles, 8 solo, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. He almost had a pick. He was right there in position.
Right there. At it, man.
9 out of 10 times he makes that play. It's just one of the freak things that just happened. 9 out of 10 times he makes that play.
And you could tell, Chris. You could tell he felt bad about it too. Because the guy ended up.
Because of his play, it brings the grade up. But I have to give him a C plus because I mean we're still seeing what we've seen in the first 2 weeks. Gentry played great, but other linebackers not being in position, not shooting the right gap, missing tackles, right? We've seen a lot. We've seen 3 plays in a row where a tackle was missed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it got better in the second half. Lynn made some adjustments and things of that nature, and some personnel adjustments, and we seen some different type of lineups at the linebacker position that to me makes sense to do moving forward. But Lynn, Ryan, they're great coaches. Wherever they go is what I'm going to go with. But just from the sure not being in right positions, not being in the right gap, the missed tackles, and causing us to be gashed on the ground, I have to go with a C plus. And another thing is that too, not getting the depth you're supposed to get, especially in the cover 2 as a linebacker, and everybody's blaming the corner for a slant route when the corner has a flat, right? But our linebackers all game was put in a precarious situation that RPO is tough, right? Because when they're running the ball like that and they're having success, as a linebacker, you're going to start cheating up, and that's what you're supposed to do in RPO. As that linebacker come up, you throw the ball in the space he left, right? And that's the slant route. But as far as linebacker group, let me take that back. I'm gonna give him a B minus.
You changing the grade on it?
I'm giving him a B minus.
Okay.
Yeah, C plus B minus, pretty much same. But I'm gonna give him a B minus. Right. I think I'm being too tough on him.
Right. Overall, I want to get a linebackers a B. Sure, there's some missed tackles we had, but like you said, Eric Gentry right there in that spot. Chances are, 9 times out of 10, he make that play, that interception. And what shocked me was the running back actually threw it. So backwards.
No, that was Mike Jackson. That was the wide receiver. Mike Jackson.
Oh, it was a wide receiver. Okay, the wide receiver actually threw the ball with him standing right there. He hit his hands. Unfortunately, the quarterback scooped it up and ran it in. It was one of those freak plays, like you said. But I saw definitely some promise. We got some young guys coming in to make some plays, some transfer. Jaden Walker came in there, made some big hits to transfer. Linebacker from Penn State, what's his name? Robinson.
Jameer Robinson. Yes, he looked explosive on his.
He came through there. But I saw our linebackers coach Ryan and Lynn, willing to give these guys an opportunity when the other guys, weren't having such a great game. So that's good that we had some quality backups, but I'm really liking Jaden Walker, man. He looks like, he's chomping at the bit to play. He's taking advantage of his opportunity. So is Robinson. So I'm going to go a B on it. I'll go a B.
All right. And we are to our last position group. Defensive backs. I'm sorry, we got one more position group after that. But defensive backs. You want me to take the lead?
Yeah. You got the lead on all defense.
All right, defensive backs. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and give us a B. Right. For one, two interceptions. When plays needed to be made, we made them. When you think about defensive backs, it's safeties as well. The safeties played spectacular. Even Christian Pierce came in on that corner blitz. Got a sack. When Jerry got his pick six, it was Kamari Ramsey and Devin Tompkins met at the quarterback at the same time, which popped the ball up. And off the strength of the safety play, I just can't give him anything lower than a B. Also, the corners, a lot of people are giving our corners a whole lot of riff and raff about this RPO. But again, if we're not in man coverage, right, that corner is not responsible for that slant. If you're in cover 3, cover 4, cover 2, the cornerback is not responsible for the slant. That's not his drop, right? Cover 2, they have the flats, the flats to curl or whatnot. Cover 3, they got the deep third. Cover 4, they got the deep third. But off the strength of the safeties, I got to give them a B. If it wasn't the strength of the safeties, I would have got them for a C, but I wouldn't be more picking at the RPO, those slants. It'd be more about the back shoulders and all the other easy throws and stuff that they got. So definitely needs to tighten up on.
So what was your grade on that? What was your grade?
I'm off the strength of the safety play, I got to go with a B.
Oh, okay, flat B. I'm gonna say a B plus. I mean, you're one of those teachers or professors to where you look at the curriculum at the beginning of the year and be like, oh man, I'm not taking Mr. Rowland this year. I'm gonna see if I can get Mr. Jenkins this year. I want to go B plus for those very same reasons. You know, they made up for it. You know, Fitzgerald with the two pick interceptions, one in the end zone and one when they were in driving territory. You know, that actually sealed the game. So he had one to save an opening drive, and he had one to seal the game away. So we got some stuff we need to clean up. We did give up over 300 yards in passing. Um, I'm sure the secondary coach Reed and who's Doug Belt, right? Coach Belt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're going to get after these guys. I did see some new faces in there. I saw Marcellus Williams get a lot of playing time in there in that game. So and he looked efficient. I wouldn't say he was a shutdown corner. I wouldn't say that we have any shutdown corners, but I think they complement each other. They play
I think
well.
go. Well, I mean, we'll save it for another show, but I think in the future and what's coming, Chase and Johnson look like he's going to be that shutdown
21,
corner.
right?
I mean,
That's number 21, right? Right.
Yeah,
He may be that
always
shutdown. Right.
he's always in position, running. Strop stride. I think
Right.
as he continues to grow, he's going to be that guy.
So I'm going to go B plus on that, and it's for those two interceptions that Fitzgerald got.
All right, we are down for our last position group, and we're gonna put everything together, right? And I'll just throw the numbers out as far as our specialists. Kickoff return, we only got a chance to return one kick. Makai Lemon, it was 16 yards. Punt returns, we only got one shot at a punt return. It was only for 2 yards. We didn't punt at all, right? So I think it's like the third game where we didn't punt. I think we might have punted one time all year. And so field goal kicking, we were 3 for 4, right? So as far as specialty group, what would you give them? And I'll go first.
Okay.
We really don't have
incomplete. You going incomplete on it? You going incomplete on it? You going incomplete on the grade?
Nah, I'm gonna give us a A- because even though we don't have a lot to go off of, I'm gonna go off of what we do have. And kicking off, we gave up some yardage by kicking the ball out of bounds, right? You don't never want to kick the ball out of bounds on kickoff. And then when we were up 13, in the fourth quarter, trying to go up 2 scores, which would have forced Perdue to have to score 2 touchdowns and two 2-point conversions to tie it, or score on 3 possessions, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. We missed the field goal, like we were doing last year. We missed the field goal, right? And so the lead was steady at 13, which gave them the ball back, and they actually drove right down the field. But Bishop Fitzgerald came up with a great interception, man, to get us the ball back for us to go down and kick another field goal. So just because of the kickoff and the missed field goal, I'm gonna give us an A-. The kids did make he made 3 out of 4. So that's still a good percentage, like 75%. But in those situations when you have a chance to go up 2 scores in the fourth quarter like that, I mean, you really want to put the pressure on the other team. And so because of the missed field goal, I have to go with an A-.
Okay, with that, I'm going to go with B. Like for those very same reasons. Hey, you got to put this game away. The kicker got the opportunity, to put us up 2 scores to where the Perdue would have to make 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. The degree of difficulty it would take in order for them to come back and actually threaten that game. So we're still seeing some of the issues that we had last season, with field goals. So for that very same reason, I'm going to go B- on it. We got to clean that up. We got to bring it. For some reason, we have an issue bringing in some dependable kickers. And I'm not piling on top of the kid. I'm pretty sure he's not intending to miss the field goal, but that's your only job, and we need you to deliver on your job. So for that, I'm going to go B-.
And he wasn't our projected starter. Chittenden, I'm not sure his injury, but he hasn't played all year. So it's looked like he's been hurt since camp. He Chittenden, we got from UNLV. He was on all these preseason watch lists and things, but unfortunately, we haven't been able to see him play yet. I believe in the kicker we have. It wasn't a bad miss. It doinked off the upright, so it wasn't just like it was completely wide right or wide left. But as far as grade wise on the specialist for that, that's our grades. Again, we appreciate everyone joining us. We're going to get out of here. Our next live is going to be this Saturday at 9:30 Central. Will be on. The game starts at 10 o'clock Central. It'll be on FSB1 network. We'll be here. We'll be going live. We'll be breaking down the game as it's going on. We'll have a link in the chat where you can call in, share what you think is going on, what you see, ask any question, comment on the game, man, and we'll be here. We'll kick it off 30 minutes before the game with our analysis and film study of what we've seen from Michigan State. Discuss kind of what we expect, what we'll like to see the team do against what they like to do, and some of the keys to success that we see in us going 4-0. With that is all for me. B, you got anything before we get out of here?
Outside of that, please continue to like the videos, share them, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications from whenever we post a video, whenever we go live. If not, we appreciate you guys stopping by. Shout out to the guys that stopped by on the last live stream. Shout out to Carter. Shout out to Tobias. Shout out to Preston and Paulie Walnuts that stopped by. Other than that, you can take us out of here.
All right, man. Till next time, as always, we'll see you guys Saturday. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until later on, as always, Trojan family, fight on, fight on.
Fight on.